I'm going to teach you guys how to make seed bombs for spring. It's a great way to support your local environment and brighten up the empty lots near your home. And you guessed it, it's also a spell. Coming up next. Welcome to the Witch's Studio. I am, of course, Mickie Mueller, author, illustrator, and witch, not necessarily in that order. And today I have a really cool spell for you guys that's also a craft. You can make it so easily with stuff that you already have around your house. That's what I'm all about, working witchcraft with what you already have on hand. Practical, kitchen witchery, green magic, all of those things. So if you love that kind of thing too, and you haven't already, make sure that you have hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, don't forget to ring that notification bell, because that's what lets you know as soon as I upload a new video. Those of you who are part of the community and have seen my other videos, you've probably already figured out this is in fact one of the spells that I wrote in the 2017 Llewellyn's Sabbats Almanac. This is a really fun one, you guys. I'm so excited to share it with you. Spring is all about the energies of what are you growing right now? What are you planting to grow? So this little craft slash spell is great for manifesting anything that you want. You get to decide what you want to manifest in your life. This is green magic. This is a spell that we will use to put it out there, what we want in the universe. We're doing it with the power of spring. Not only is it a spell to help us, but it also helps the local wildlife. And when you're good to the spirits of the land, they are good to you. A seed bomb is basically made out of paper pulp and seeds. I recommend that you find seeds from plants that are native to your area, because those are generally also the plants that are going to help your local pollinators and that are going to be good for your environment. You don't want to plant something that might be invasive in your area. It's really important to be aware of what's growing naturally in your local area and make sure that you use seeds that are going to be able to coexist with the local flora and help feed the local fauna. And you can also generally find packets of seeds that are wildflowers, which are perfectly acceptable. Just double check to make sure that everything in your seed packet is on your local list. Because we don't want something that we're doing to negatively impact our environment. We want to positively impact our environment. Because when we do that, it ripples out and it affects the magic that we do. So this is really important that we're working with the local spirits of the land. And if you don't work with spirits, that's fine. But we're working with the local energies of the land as well, and protecting our environment and benefiting our environment in the process. Editor Mickie here. I lost a bit of footage, and so I wanted to drop in really quick with some important information that I did not want to get left out of this video. Seed bombs are often tossed in empty lots in order to help beautify the area and help pollinators. I do want to give you a word of caution here, because I want to make sure that you're aware that you should check in with your local ordinances or check with the owner of the abandoned lot before you toss seed bombs onto them. I don't want anyone to get in trouble for vandalism. Never toss seed bombs onto privately owned property unless you have checked with them first and gotten an okay. Never toss them onto a conservation area or any land used for agricultural purposes. If in doubt, just use them in your own yard. Really easy. Stay safe out there, guys. So let's get into it. I am so excited to show you guys how I made these. So I grabbed some of our recycled newsprint that we use for our dye sublimation printing. We use environmentally safe ink, so it's perfect to use. We usually reuse it for packing, but it will work great for this. You can use any kind of paper you want. Generally about 4 sheets of paper is what you're looking for. And then you're going to need some seeds. I just grabbed these wildflower seeds from Dollar Tree. They've got stuff like echinacea, black-eyed Susan. I double checked them all to make sure they're safe for my area. This is milkweed, and I found a milkweed pod when I was on a walk. Milkweed is, of course, very important to the life cycle of the monarch butterflies, which are possibly going on the endangered or threatened list soon. So it's important for us to plant those. I also have these brightly colored flower petals that came from a bouquet. You guys probably saw in my last video that I got from Grandpa Dan. And I cut those up and basically turned them into natural confetti. That will just help to decorate the seed bombs. It doesn't really have any other purpose other than being pretty. Now, if you want to color your seed bombs, you can use food color. But since I had some, I decided to use some butterfly pea flower. And it's a natural dye. So I just grabbed a little bit of butterfly pea flower. And I'm going to add it to the water that I use to make these seed bombs. So while I'm waiting for my water to boil, I'm going to go ahead and shred up this paper and just shred it up the best I can. I don't have a paper shredder. I probably should get one, but I don't have one right now, so I just shredded it by hand. If you have a paper shredder, you can use paper right out of your paper shredder to do this. Some people also add fertilizer to their seed bombs, which is a great idea. I just didn't have any on hand. So now I'm pouring that boiling water, 2 cups worth, into my measuring cup. And that is just to activate that butterfly pea flower tea to add the color. And look at how pretty that color is. It really makes a pretty blue. Now you're going to need a really big bowl and a strainer of some kind. The finer the better. A big whole colander probably won't work very well. So I'm adding all of that shredded paper to my bowl. And once that has cooled enough that, I'm not going to burn myself, I'm going to pour the water with the butterfly pea flower into this bowl and let that paper soak. I'm going to let it soak for about 10 minutes. I really want that paper to be able to break down easily. So I'm pushing it all down, making sure it's all wet, and I really want it to soak that up. Once that has soaked for 10 minutes, I'm going to throw it in my blender. Now I have one of those high power blenders, but you don't have to do that. If you just have a food processor, that's fine, or really any blender will do. So then I put my blender on high and just let it go. Now quite a bit of energy is being spent to grind up this paper to a pulp. So if you want to focus on your goals that you want to manifest while this is happening, you can definitely do that. Next, you want to pour it through the strainer into a bowl or right into the sink if you want to do it that way. And really try to press as much of that liquid out of it as you can. As you can see, it's kind of a light blue. It's not going to be a super vibrant color unless you decide to use colored paper, in which case you could get a much brighter color. And just keep squeezing all of the water out of that you can. I wanted to check it and see kind of the consistency. And I drained some of the water out of that bowl and then continued to squeeze as much water out as I possibly can. You really want it fairly dry because you don't want those seeds to get wet and germinate until you're ready to plant them. So there's about the consistency that it ends up being. And next we're going to start adding the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to drop my seeds in there. I got 4 packets. I really loaded up the seeds because they're not all going to germinate. Because you're not really planting them, you're just kind of chucking them into a place. And so that can really help just to kind of hedge your bets, put a lot of seeds in there. The local bees and butterflies are going to love this mix. Next, I added some of the milkweed seeds. As you can see, some of them had broken loose from the little feathery, I don't know, things that they're attached to that float through the air. And the rest of them, wait till you see how these come out of the pod, because they just kind of explode into cloudy goodness. I am still finding those in my kitchen, you guys, and I did this a couple days ago, so I'm just saying. And then I added some flower petals. I had some dry flower petals that I put in there, and then these are fresh flower petals as well, cut into little pieces so that they will disperse throughout. And those are just to add color. And then just mix it up really good. As you can see, it's kind of looks sort of interesting already. You can see the seeds and all the colors throughout. And there it is. Okay, so this next step, we're going to focus on our intentions. I'm making 3 seed bombs. I'm going to do separate intentions for each one. I'm writing down what I want to manifest in the year ahead. I'm focusing on stuff like protection and health for my family because we're dealing still with COVID times. I'm focusing on abundance to keep us going and things like that. So yeah, I filled out 3 petitions and then I rolled them towards me because I'm bringing it into my life. And then I kind of fold it a little bit at the end just to keep it from unraveling. And there they are. So you're going to divide that kind of seed bomb clay, I guess, into 3 separate piles. And then just insert that petition into the center of your seed bomb. And then begin to shape it. You're shaping this by hand, so it can be a little bit challenging to get just the right shape, but just do the best you can. As you will see, mine didn't turn out perfect, but it doesn't matter. And I want you guys to understand, everything doesn't have to be perfect. So I've been thinking on and focusing on my goals throughout this process, but at this point, I want to really take that energy of what I want to manifest and push it into each seed bomb as I'm forming it. And just repeat that process with all 3 sections of your seed bomb clay. And there they are. They turned out super cute. Set them outside on some concrete because concrete will help soak up that liquid and put them in the sunlight, and that will also help them to dry relatively quickly. How about we make a nest to put them in so you can set them on your altar and bless them before they get used? Okay, so you're just going to need some plain glue. I poured a little in this dish because I'm going to mix it with some water. Approximately 3 parts glue to 1 part water. Works generally pretty well. Then you're going to need a bunch of different materials. I have raffia, I have some twine, and then I'm just mixing it up with my finger because I am definitely getting my fingers into this mess, and I'll show you kind of the consistency there that it's supposed to be. There you go. All right, remember the balloons that we used for those ice lanterns? Well, I still have some. So you're going to want to blow that balloon up so that it'll fit into a bowl or dish of your choice. You want it to be something that's going to really hold it steadily. I'm just using these oversized coffee mugs for mine. And you're just going to take each one of your pieces of string, dip it into your glue mixture, and then just arrange it randomly on top of that balloon. Start dipping the strings and things one by one into the glue, then run your fingers along the string to remove any excess glue and lay it over the top of the balloon. Just keep adding more materials in a variety of directions one by one. Don't get too wrapped up in trying to keep it all even. If it's more free form, it'll look more like a natural bird's nest. So I like to mix up the directions that I'm going back and forth. These are some baker's twine that I had. I just thought they looked interesting. I want those to be on the inside of the nest, so I'm adding them first. Kind of think backwards, because the inside of the nest, of course, is whatever you lay on it first, and then as you go, you're going to build it up and build it up, as you will see here. I really like this twine, and again, that came from Dollar Tree, and then I added a little bit of the raffia just to kind of fill it in a little more quickly. Now I decided to just make kind of a star shape with lots of it kind of extending over the top, and then I twisted a piece around the outside of it to kind of hold those all in place. Then I twisted up one last bit of that twine, and I'm dipping it into the glue to make a stand so that it will stay nice and flat on the altar and won't rock around and everything. So this is not going to seem very stable at first, but if you take it outside and set it in the sun for about 24 hours with your seed bombs, when you take the balloon out of it, it's pretty darn sturdy. Look at that. It's like a little natural looking bird's nest. I initially thought I was going to cut those extra pieces off, but I kind of liked the way they looked sticking up. It looked more like a natural bird's nest. So I decided to add a few dried leaves just to add to the effect, and some feathers that Dan found. He always picks up feathers when he goes for walks, and so those are some feathers that he found when he was on his walks. I decided to add those as well. And there it is. I'm so happy with how it turned out. So you can place this on your Ostara altar to let it fully charge with that sacred energy, and you've already put all your intentions in. And then I suggest that you wait until a day when you know there's going to be lots of rain, which usually happens in the spring in the United States, and that is the best time to cast your seed bomb out into the world. You can also plant it in your yard if you want, just don't plant it too deep. The rain will break up that bomb and disperse the seeds, and they'll grow. And along with them, your magical intentions. So what do you guys think? I think they turned out pretty cool. Yeah, they're a little lumpy bumpy, but I'm not mad at it. After all, I am literally going to just do some guerrilla gardening with these. Not that kind of guerrilla. How many of your witch friends would really appreciate you sharing this idea with them? You don't have to write it all down. Just share the video. Make it easy. Your fellow witches will thank you for such a fun, cool spell to brighten up everybody's spring. I have a spot picked out where I'm going to put these. Really excited to see how many of these actually germinate and start to grow this summer. I've charged these with energies that I want to manifest in my life, and I cannot wait to see those flowers start to grow. I really love how the little nest turned out too. I might just keep that and use that year after year. Kind of fun. Be aware that not all of these seeds are going to sprout, but some of them will. That's why we put so many seeds into these. And then you've created a really great spell to bring whatever it is that you want into your life, and at the same time making the whole world just a little bit brighter. I hope that all of your spring wishes come true. If you learned something new today, give me a thumbs up. That lets me know that I should keep on making more videos like this. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here in the studio today. I'm always happy to have you come and visit me here and find out what I've been up to. Here's a few more videos that I think you might enjoy. I will see you guys right here next time. Until then, I hope that you all stay safe, happy, and healthy. And remember, as always, to be your magic. Bye, guys.